see that. I clicked on the button. Well, hello there, beautiful Perrine, all the way from Arizona. And I think we are on the same line around the earth. I don't know the English name for it. Anyway, so
Um, not meridian. Could be. I don't
yeah,
remember. It's off my
yeah,
brain.
probably because back in Greece again, right? But I was last week
Yes.
too. So welcome everybody to another wonderful Wednesday with Cosmic Sis-Stars. And we are live with you here on YouTube and we stream right after the show. We're going to stream the replay on facebook.com/Cosmic Guardians. So today we are going to talk about where truth meets empowerment and boundaries become blessings. How about that? This
Yes.
episode is not just a conversation, it's a reclamation. Power in the pushback. It is okay to say no way or go away. And you have your soul's permission to slip things and stop shrinking and start shining, right?
Yes.
We don't need to say yes if we really feel that we don't want to, right? So we are diving deep into the sacred art of saying no, not as rejection, but as redirection, not as resistance, but as resonance. Whether you felt drained by constant yeses or silenced by fear of disappointing others, and that's common. Today, we are cracking open the wisdom of pushback as a path to self honoring and energetic sovereignty. And together, we'll explore how saying no way, go away can be the most loving act you offer yourself. Because when you choose your truth, you choose your light. And when you protect your peace, you invite deeper connection and you become authentic. How about that? Let's rise into clarity. Let's reclaim our voice. Let's celebrate the power in the pushback. And today we have Wednesday, October 1st in US and Europe and October 2nd down under our future in Australia. And again, we talk about power in the pushback. It is okay to say no way or go away. Okay.
Hmm.
You can find upcoming and past episodes at angelplaceonearth.com/upcoming-past and of course at youtube.com/at angelplaceonearth/streams. Find our series at angelplaceonearth.com/series dash cosmic dash guardians. I just love the slashes and dashes. I laugh every time. Anyway, our last show on Cosmic Guardians and with Cosmic Sisters, Corinne, Mooney, and Anne was last Wednesday, September 24th, and we talked about the Celestial Prophecy, the 10th insight, the power of intention, our intentions shape our reality. So if you didn't catch us live or the replay on YouTube or Facebook, you can go to angelplaceonearth.com/series dash cosmic dash guardians.
Wow.
Trying to keep my tongue straight.
Yes. Yes.
And of course, you can connect with us, find upcoming shows, past episodes, read articles, find Karina website, phone number for her, and what she's doing. I mean, um, her work and the meditation and everything else, and myself, and you go to angelplaceonearth.com/cosmic guardians, and you can see our pictures there, and you just click on it and you find all the information. And I think it's actually time to dive in deep waters into today's topic.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
I put on a special bathing suit for this deep dive, because this is up close and regrets. My own regrets be to
so we try again. So Corrine, kind of,
yeah.
are you here? Yeah, you're back. Yes, please.
Yeah, it was kind of jumping around, but I'm a little in the hot seat before I get in the hot seat. So
We didn't hear what you said because you froze.
because I was moving around. Okay.
Yes.
I'm not a person to have regrets, because regrets are you can't do anything about them. I mean, you can learn from them, but they're really pretty useless. But if I had regrets, it would be the times that I said yes when I really wanted to say no.
Yeah.
And that those are the only things that I would ever regret, because those led me into things that maybe where I didn't want to go. And so this power of being able to understand that no is a wonderful gift. And it's interesting because you can ask any 2-year-old what the power of no means. They may
I'm
not
sure
fully
they know.
Yeah, they don't understand the ramifications of it, but this is a small, powerful word, and they can see it stops the adults right in their tracks, and they have power. And so they learn to use this as almost as a weapon. No, come on, let's go. No. And interesting about that, when I had a surprise package 20 years after I'd had my first 5 kids, I'm now 20 years older, single, and I really did not want to be around a child that was having temper tantrums and no, and going through all of that terrible 2 stuff. And I thought about it for quite a while, and I go, yes, I have to deter behavior, but how can I do it without introducing the word no?
Yeah.
And I came up with stop. As she was crawling over to investigate things, and that's how they learn, I would just say stop, and she would turn, sit herself up, and look at me. And then I would go over and I would take whatever she was aiming for and I would hold it. Now, children learn by touching, tasting, feeling, and they have to investigate it. And I would hold it and let her do everything she wanted to do to it. And then we sat it back down, and her curiosity had been satisfied. But by using the word stop when I wanted to deter that behavior, she never grew up learning no. And it was a beautiful, beautiful gift, not only to her, but to me, because in that process, what did it do? I would say, before I answered, I would go in my mind, stop. I would pause, and then I would ponder, what are the ramifications of me saying yes? And what a difference. What a difference to take that breath and then move in the direction that I chose rather than what I thought I had to do.
Exactly. You know, because many times we go on autopilot in many areas, but specifically in this one, because you can't say no, that's not appropriate for this. You can't say no, right? How many times have we heard that? So
Yep.
you taught your daughter by avoiding that word that she's going to encounter anyway, but more grown up, right?
That's
A
right.
little older, even as a child, but a little older. That was very, very smart.
It at the time it seemed like the greatest gift I gave her was being able to pause and be able to teaching her to analyze her situation, teaching her to go within. I didn't realize I was teaching this to her, but I gave her this gift of discernment, of not automatically saying no for power, but when she grew older, learning that this was something that we use as to build our not build our barriers, our boundaries, but to say this is what I will do and this is what I won't do, and not take it personally that we're being a bad person, or not taking, because we are trained that we should always be, oh yes, I can go and help you with that, and yes, I can do this for you, and while we are being living our own lives, that just makes you a yes person. That doesn't make you a
Yeah.
real friend.
No, it doesn't. And a lot of expectations, a lot of assumptions, probably from others or from yourself as well. If I say no, I'm going to ruin it, right?
Yep.
It's going to be not going to be good. Uh, but we are actually showered in experiences and possibilities to say no. And to say no is not equal to be or stop like you did. It's not equal to be mean. I think a lot of people think that it's equal to be you're not a nice person.
Yes.
I'm considered very nice. And I encountered a colleague once, and that was so funny for me. He said to me, "You're so sweet and you're so kind. I bet you can never say no." And I said, "Come close and try me if you
Yes.
dare." He
And
didn't
and
come, and I said, "You chicken."
but I found that I did not realize how much of a yes person I was until I became single. And I when I went out, struck up my own business, I became a manicurist because I could. It was a job that I could have and still be able to be a mother to Shannon. And the owner of the shop came to me and wanted me to allow this other manicurist to come in and use all of my equipment. Well, I had to buy everything. I had to find the money to buy my table, buy my supplies. And I just said, no, that will not work. Well, when I did this, his assistant said, well, that's not like you, Karine. And it just like resonated. And I go, you're right. It wasn't like me. I got so happy. I went into the ladies' room and I'm going, yes, because I'd actually stood up for myself and said, no. And you can do it nicely. No, that won't work for me. No, not at this time. Let's reconsider. You don't have to be just no to your face and be mean. But I stood up for me. I stood up for
Yes,
me.
yeah. And that is the most important thing, you know. There is much strength in saying no or stop, right?
Yes,
It is not rejection, it is redirection
I love
because
that.
we don't have, yeah, it's nice, isn't it? We don't have to say yes to anything. And even we don't have to say no if we don't want to.
That's true.
It goes both ways. So it's not cruelty, it's clarity. saying no is not a wall, it's a doorway to self-respect.
Yes. And it also gives you time to pause and reconsider what are the ramifications if you follow this direction that they want you to go. And it may be as simple as can you make cupcakes for the school play? Well, maybe you're so swarmed and you have no time to be able to do these things. And by adding one more thing, you're going to have to neglect doing something with one of your children or doing something with something else. So putting that into balance, there is nothing wrong with that. And it doesn't mean that you're a bad person or that you're not helpful. It just means that not at this time. You know, clarity.
No, and
I love that.
yes, it's not a pushback or resistance for the sake of resistance. It is coming from the place of our soul, from the very core within,
Yes.
and saying to ourselves, I choose me. It doesn't mean that we hold an attitude, um, because I'm better than you, I'm not going to do it, right?
Yes.
It's not about that. Um, but it is to honor yourself. And also, this may seem weird. In the long run, you also honor the other person because you made a choice. And if you would have gone through with it, and I've done this a million times when I was younger, right? Like
Yep.
everybody else. And I always found myself and I said, why didn't I say no in the first place?
Yep.
Because afterwards you feel drained. Maybe you and the other person are irritated on each other because somehow they do sense you don't want to be there or do
Yes.
that. So it's a win-win, basically.
Yes. But on a positive to a negative, in a relationship, when you really your gut tells you that this is not for you, and you say no, and you've gotten to a point in the relationship where it's you're being constantly battered to concede to what they want you to do. If this is something that's consistent in a relationship, first of all, there is no love in this relationship. It's a control issue. But if you really understand that this is harming you mentally, physically, and emotionally, there is beauty in saying, no way, I'm not going to do that. And if they keep persisting, have the courage to walk away.
Yeah.
Leaving a bad situation is a positive thing. And
It is.
sometimes when I'm coaching people and it's the same thing over and over. Well, we're always doing what he wants to do. He did, and I said, and I have the word no printed on a piece of paper. And I said, so what part of no do you not understand? Is it the end? Maybe we could, figure out what the end means and then figure out what the O means. But this is something that they're so uncomfortable and foreign to ever using because they have never, ever become the authentic person that they can be. So there is a time when walking away, if they are not accepting your no, is the only way.
Yeah, probably. That's a good one too.
Yeah,
Walking away may be the only way.
exactly. And
Yeah.
it's painful. And I personally can tell you that. Um, I was in a relationship that from every angle looked like the most wonderful thing in the world. Everything was there. And then certain behaviors that became so apparent that were making it impossible for me to keep closing my eyes.
Yeah.
And I finally said, because I had given hints, I'd given ideas for the behavior to change, and it wasn't changing. And I knew at a gut level that I had to walk away, because my saying no was not changing the situation. And I had to have the courage to walk away.
And you know what that is? That is emotional sovereignty, energetic mastery.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And it no, it is never easy. I've been experiencing something of the in the same lines too. Um,
Yes.
you think that you are to a certain level, you're caught up, but it's your mind that is setting the boundaries, that's telling you, because eventually a relationship like that, you're going to leave, you are going to walk away. So if you hold yourself within that spiral, which doesn't feel comfortable because you don't really think here that you can go, yeah, you can. You may hold yourself there for several years, right? And I
Long
think it's
time.
common.
Yes.
And when things get worse and you say to you see that I can't remain here anymore, I need to
Yeah.
leave.
And that concept that we need to make do in a situation that isn't going to get us through, and it's making excuses. Well, they're having a bad day. It's like working with a person that's addicted to something. We're constantly making excuses for their bad behavior, and because we feel responsible and we feel we can help, and all of the other stuff that we've talked about many, many times. But there comes a time when you have to take that stand, because we're all entitled to our private space, to our thoughts, to our feelings. And we choose when and where to share them. When you find your authentic self, you understand that you don't just have to reveal everything to someone. You don't have to constantly be complying to what their wishes are. This is not being true. This is just being a puppet. And
Exactly.
and I love the way that you said that it's a doorway, because it allows us to go, okay, open, shut, shut, open.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
there again, like what I was teaching myself and I didn't know, is I was causing myself to pause
Yeah.
and to reevaluate, instead of going, yes, 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 yes. And, you know, so,
No, and it's interesting. You said something that I wanted to continue, but I kind of slipped my mind, like it usually, how it works. Like it comes here and it goes away.
that's, yeah,
Uh, I think it's going to come back. It's something with the relationships, and when you stay in them, when you don't think that you have an out. Um, anyway, it's going to come back.
yes,
So anytime you feel, yeah, I know it came. It's interesting that you talked about this too, because I think I said it also. Um, I was raised that if you're not a good human being or a good friend or a good daughter or a good grandchild or whatever it is, if you don't tell everything, right?
yes.
But the thing is, I think that we owe ourselves to pick and choose what we are expressing and to whom we are saying it. We don't need to be like an open book,
No.
right?
And
No,
when you come from truth and integrity, then the words that you're saying are truthful, and they're not manipulative, and they're not trying to conceal something. They're just not saying everything, because we do need to have our sovereignty. We do need to have
Yeah,
our spiritual space. And but as human beings and wanting to be around people, we want people to join us in our space. And I
yes.
think what happens is sometimes when you open up and you say, this is my space, would you like to join? And then you're rejected. Then you immediately you never say that again. So that's the beauty of finding your authentic self and finding someone who is authentic. Because
Exactly. Yes.
yes,
But, um, showing who you are means also that sometimes for certain people you may feel like, I'm not going to say this, not because I'm afraid. It has nothing to do with fear or things where I'm coming from. It has more to do with own integrity.
yep,
Do I need to reveal this to this person or not? And when you're authentic, it's not a question. You just know. Um, and it also doesn't mean that you are not showing yourself or holding on to things. It means that you practice discernment, right?
exactly.
So
Discernment.
yeah, if you're going to reveal everything about your life to someone that's going to gossip, what is the win in that situation, for instance? Because the thing is also, I think where I'm coming from, because everything is energy, and when we are putting out things that we may want to manifest, or we are currently doing something that is important, maybe we pick and choose our circle
Yes.
where we do reveal those things, right? And we can tell them after it's done, right?
Yep. And as we've been working with the insights from the Celestine prophecy, we understand that we're all energy, and people utilize, manipulate, and want. And there's a difference in sharing our energy like you and I do. We're sharing ideas, we're sharing parts of ourselves because we know that we are in a very safe place. But to have someone siphon away our energy by constantly putting us in a position where we have to comply and we're always saying yes, and we feel drained because they literally are sucking our life source away. And this is the power of setting that boundary. And it's blessed that we are able to shut the door. I mean, I do not want every human being walking by my house walking in my house. So my doors are shut. you know? And if
Yeah,
they knock, and if we agree, then I will let them into my house. And that is the same as saying no.
yes.
You are making that decision at that particular time. So it's a beautiful thing. And maybe I should put no on my door, and then if I open up, then I'm saying maybe. So I mean, I'm sorry, that
Yeah,
just flipped through my head.
no, that was funny. But I think we can say that you are allowed to say no without guilt because you
Exactly.
determine when it's appropriate or not. Someone else is not going to come and tell you if it's appropriate or not because they can't. They're not you, right? You
Exactly.
are allowed to walk away without explanation because
Exactly.
sometimes most of us wants answers, right? We want
Yes.
to know, we want to have conversations, discussions, whatever. But there are so many times when we can't have that.
Yeah.
But it's okay to walk away. And there are certain people also that demands explanation, and you can sit there forever. They're not going to hear what you say because you've done it. Maybe week out, week in, month out, month in, right?
Yes.
Etc. and you realize that whatever you say is not going to come anything out of it. So maybe you need to act, right? So walking away is an action you
That's
take.
right.
So
That's right.
um, you are allowed to protect your peace without apology.
And I remember the story you tell of when you were accosted in the shopping mall, and this man just comes up to you and says, "Well, this is what I heard about you," and da 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 da. Da. And you know that there is nothing you're going to say that's going to deter him, and then
Yeah,
I'll let you finish that story, but that's really the truth. Where we get tangled up is in relationships because all of
yeah,
the stuff, well, we should, this is what my parents did, this is what I was taught, I'm going to be a good girl, and all this kind of stuff. That's when we lose our ability to really have the power. But I love the way that you handled that guy. And what did you say to him when he would not go away?
I have some. I have many stories, but I think yeah, I can have one. Say one that I encountered so many because I was selling tickets at a
Yeah,
ticket office behind glass for 4 years when I moved back to Sweden in the actually the year 2000, right?
yeah,
Um, I like my colleagues and I like the everything around, but it was a truly challenging work job to do. And that station had around over 20,000 passengers passing through every traffic, um, from they opened to they closed. That's a lot of
well,
people.
that's a lot of
Um,
people.
maybe hundreds came to you and bought tickets and stuff. And there was a guy coming to me and he said, "You didn't do your job." And I said, "Maybe I didn't. I don't know what I didn't do. Can you tell me?" Yeah, well, the train came in, you didn't drive fast enough. The train came in 3 minutes too late. I said, "Okay, I get you. I'm sorry. Next."
Yeah, and that's the thing that utilizing the tools that we have to protect our dignity, our grace, our and our sovereignty. Um, we need to understand that maybe in the big world of things, other people's concept is that you always have to be obedient and say that yes. But when you understand that people that learn how to say no in the proper time are really the ones that have empowered themselves to be their authentic self.
Yeah. And, I think it's way easier in a job situation because you're not connected to those people. So you can take a very formal place for yourself, right? But
Exactly.
in relationships, I think because I'm a woman, I dare to speak as a woman. I think that we are many times thinking that we are the caretakers, we are the glue in the relationship, we are supposed to be the ones giving attention to everybody, fixing things, right? But when we stop trying and stop fixing, that's when we're going to see a lot of things so we can determine, am I going to remain here or not? Because we are not supposed to be the ones who are fixing everything, right? There
Nope.
are two people in all relationships, and sometimes if it's a family, there are multiple relationships going on, right? But it doesn't mean that you are the one that has to fix or obey or, do whatever. I think that plays a huge role. Don't
Yes.
you?
And interesting enough, because we learn behaviors, we learn how to survive. And I got married very young, and the one time that I voiced that I wanted to do something, and it was a simple thing about going back to the school. I was 17, so I was still in high school, and in that day and age, I was ostracized because I was married, and married students were only allowed reading, writing, and arithmetic. I couldn't take drama. I couldn't take sports. I mean, that was the old fashioned thinking. And I wanted to help do something for the drama class, and I wanted to go back to school that night and help do the artwork and stuff so I could get involved. And my husband at the time had not told me about an event, a very special event that was coming up. And he says, well, I guess you don't want to go to that. And I said, well, of course I do. Nope, you don't. You made up your mind. And I learned at the age 17 to always agree. To always agree. Let's jump forward 23 years later. We're getting a divorce. And his comment to me was, well, you never, ever stand up for yourself. And I'm going, okay, you taught me that if I stood up for myself, you were going to get rid of me. And now you're telling me that I didn't stand up for myself. So that's what part of the problem. And this is what's so confusing, that learning to be your authentic self before you get into a relationship, that is the key to bliss,
Yeah, it is. And what you experience has probably to do, like when my parents married. My mom was 17 when she married my dad. She
Yeah.
was 18 when I was born. My dad was 19 when he married. That's very young for a man also.
Yes.
And he was 19 when I was born. He turned 22 weeks after my birth. And those days, even in Sweden, people had to get married because it wasn't looked upon with greatness if you had a child outside of a marriage, right?
Exactly.
I don't think it came from my family. I think it came from my dad's family. It's only my
Yeah.
thinking about it because my family was fairly modern. Anyway, they divorced after 3 years because they weren't the match. So why do you have to obey to something? And all of this, it's not about punishing ourselves, right? Because we are also a product of the time we are living in,
Hmm.
what's going on in that time, cultures, and we're not spared. Everybody thinks that Sweden, we are so free. Yes, we are, but we still have conventions. I call all of those conventions, right?
Yes.
So if you're listening to this, what are your conventions? Do you have to obey to them? Because there are so many things that we don't feel in alignment with. So why do I have to put up with something and say yes to something where I feel out of alignment? Right?
And I think, well, I know from the shows that we've done, um, gently giving people the opportunity to understand that it is within where you get your strength, where you get your power, and learning to appreciate that and working with that and working to develop that true connection to yourself can help you in so many ways to prevent a lot of the stagnation, a lot of the prejudice that we have to deal with as we go, because each culture has its own set of you do, you can't do, you shouldn't do, and living
Unwritten
with
rules,
that,
right?
unwritten rules. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So awareness is one way of managing this, right? So awareness, notice when you feel, can be in your body because our body is telling us a lot of things. It
Oh
can be
yeah.
different for everybody, but tension, or I feel drained of energy. Uh, Figure out, why do you feel? It is something that your body and your energy is telling you that this is um it's a something that gives you the answer, right? So you can figure it out. And we don't, no matter what anyone's saying, we don't have to obey to anything. I'm not talking about breaking laws here, right? But I'm talking about being an authentic, sensible human being, right?
Yes.
And also, you can practice your pushback by speak your truth with love and firmness. And that is easier to do before you get angry. Because when you go against yourself, a lot of times, you end up like I've been many times in the past. I got angry. Have you ever seen Donald Duck as when he's angry?
Yeah, you
I,
find
I,
it.
I,
Yeah.
I could look like that, right?
Yes. And
So
it's
yeah,
go ahead.
it is a sign that you oppressed yourself too far, right? So
Yes.
teach yourself, train, feel confident, because here's the thing also, and we have to mention this again, we said it so many times. What relationship in your life is the most important? The one with yourself. It is literally a lifetime. It's lifelong.
Yep. Yep. And it's with you wherever you go.
Exactly. Please go ahead.
Yes. Um, I was remembering a time when I went to the doctor and I was having a little bit of back challenges. And she said, your muscles are so constricted in your back that it's almost to the point where it's going to start breaking bones. And she said, is everything okay at home? And I am a great actress. Of course it is, everything else. But I was taking all of that anxiety and I was holding it in my body to the point that my muscles were tightening so tight. And we're never given any idea of what suppressing our not standing up for ourselves has to do. And there again, we gently say, this is not for the arrogant, I'm going to do it my way and everybody else go to, where. It is just the normal person that has to deal constantly with taking on that extra responsibility or being coerced into something that really doesn't feel comfortable. I mean, even if it's like, going to a party that they just do not want to go to, but their friends say, well, you've got to go to, or you're not going to be anything. So it affects everything about you. And
It does. And sometimes also another great way to practice pushback can be create a little bit of space around the situation for yourself. Step
mhm,
back when needed. And I love that I say this. When I want to see where things are heading, I take a step back, but it's kind of in here, right?
yep,
So I take a step back and I open my perspective. So I have like a bigger, broader perspective, a helicopter perspective, so I
yep,
can see and observe. And that's when I'm going to know, am I going to do this or not? Right? Because
yes,
sometimes people are so convincing and they drag you in and you jump in with both feet and then you regret that you jumped in, right? So
right,
buy yourself a little bit of time and surround yourself with those who honor your boundaries and hold those who don't honor your boundaries at an arm's length. It's
yep,
better actually because it they have to show you that they respect you. If they don't respect you, what are they doing close to you? Why do you put yourself in that situation over and over and over and over again, right? And
exactly.
reflection. So keeping a journal is great, actually, because you can see patterns, you can see things. Not journaling novels each and every day, because that's going to feel overwhelming. If you want to do that, that's fine. But I just mean write things that are out of the ordinary, negative things, positive things, like signs and things, because that's going to give encouragement. That's
Mhm.
beautiful too. But it's going to um, help you on the journey forward, because this is not also a quick fix like anything else is. Nothing is ever a quick fix. It's a process, and you need to acknowledge. And you can pat yourself on the back and say you did it. Like you went to the loo and you said, "Yes, I did it. I
Believe
saw a
me,
change in myself." Yes.
exactly. Because sometimes, and most of the times, the changes will come subtly. And we do need to take that moment when we realize that we have made progress in something that we want to achieve, and say, well done, and you're on the right track, and good for you. Because 99% of the time, if you're not speaking with integrity and being authentic with yourself, we have a tendency to fall back into the old patterns of what everybody else has said.
Yeah.
But when you speak with yourself with the beauty of real truth, instead of putting yourself down, take that time to say, job well done.
Yeah.
And it seems that as adults, especially, we forget that we need to have that recognition. Wednesday night, Tuesday night, last night at meditation, um, I was when I'm in meditation, the words that come through are not my words. They are usually divinely guided, not channeled, but I'm listening to what the universe wants to say. And the message was so clear to the people that were here, how important their presence was being at the meditation, how their energy was so important to the fulfillment of all humanity, that no matter what they felt, and the stuff that they had to go through when they were out in the real world, the jobs and everything else, that as individuals, they were so uniquely important to bringing the beauty of humanity together. And there's nobody going around coming up to you when you're in a situation and saying, hey, you're doing a good job for humanity. Hey, you're important. Your energy really counts. So I'm the cheerleader. But we need
Yeah.
to do that. And if we don't have someone else do it, we need to do it for ourselves.
Exactly. And give yourself credit when you see that you are changing something that you want to change, because you need
Exactly.
to want to change it, not someone else, right?
Exactly.
And don't be too angry on yourself when you are going against what you know, because awareness, when we are aware, I did it again. Yeah, each and every time you're going to get closer to not doing it again, right? We
Exactly.
are, as human beings, we have a tendency to repeat our mistakes sometimes.
And sometimes it's just the learning process. I mean, how many times do you have to not invent the light bulb before the light bulb works? So be gentle with yourself and go, oops, you know, but becoming aware, that's the key. And that comes from learning how to see the synchronicity in things that we do, learning how to be in contact with what we truly want to become. And then we say, okay, well, you know, we can tweak that a little bit and get back on track. And that's the beauty of becoming authentic, is you start not being critical, but very lovingly you say, here is this beautiful mound of clay, and I
Yeah.
now get to do it in the way that my soul is saying.
Exactly. And I'm going to come back a little bit to my experiences at my workplace. That was a great school, I can tell
Oh,
everyone.
yes.
In the beginning, I was shocked. Then I became, I managed, I started to get it. What am I going to do? How am I going to? And at the end, yeah, you get tired at the end because you can't stay there forever in that kind of environment. But it's
Right.
interesting. And, I learned the art of whatever people say to you that you are, that's their opinion. So be
Exactly.
my guest. Think about me, whatever you want. If I know that I haven't been rude to you, I didn't call you names, I haven't attacked you, I haven't been bad at all, you tell me whatever it is. That's fine. Thank you. Next one.
That's right. And you just happen to be the person in front of where they are finally deciding to spew everything. And there again, the beautiful four agreements. Don't take it personally. Um,
Yeah.
it's
But
it's
but it's kind of interesting. My take from that period is that sometimes or many times in certain environments, we as human beings are still very primitive, like the Stone Age.
Yep. We're
It's
still learning.
amazing.
Yep.
Yeah,
We're still learning. But that there again, if we're still learning, then we need to have that encouragement. We need to have that wow, look what you did. I mean, it's really nice if I've done a lot of laborious things. I mean, even cutting the grass, for someone to
yeah,
take the time and say, "Wow, the lawn looks really nice." I mean,
yeah,
it's just we all need to be acknowledged, and I don't
yeah,
mean in a vanity way. It's just an appreciation. I see you. I appreciate what you did. Has nothing to do with what the job was or anything else. But there again, we don't take the time to even say that to the people that are around us. And
no, we
it's
don't.
it's those little kindnesses that when you're out and about and a stranger's trying to get through the door, I don't care male or female, and you open the door, or if a man
Yeah,
opens the door for me, I always acknowledge it. I don't look at him like, well, I can do that. I just built the house and I just did this. But I always acknowledge, thank you
yeah, thank you.
for honoring me. Thank you for,
Yeah,
your generosity. And very sincerely. But we all that is kind of uh, it's like the kind of the sugar on top of the cake, you know?
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I have one short story, and then we move to the questions, and it's from
Oh,
my workplace,
questions.
and I had a lot of
Oh,
yeah,
questions.
I had a lot of colleagues from all over the globe, and because it was a big station, and during certain seasons we were two people day
Oh,
shifts
wow.
because we couldn't manage too many customers coming and buying tickets and stuff, right? Asking
Wow.
questions. He was from Ghana, from Africa, um, but a very well. He was educated, very well educated, very good at computers and stuff like that. And someone came, I don't remember if it was a man or a woman, and they called him the N name, you damn, uh, you
Yes.
know.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I felt sorry for him, but we continued. We had a queue all the time, right? And after a couple of hours, comes a lady, and she called me a racist. And we looked at each other, and I said to him, "So they named you, and they named me," and we started laughing because it's so. Um, sometimes those people in that moment when they are so primitive, they just want to drag someone into their own despair and drama, right? So they want you to jump in to have that conversation. It's not going to happen here, and
Yes.
neither with him,
And they're
right?
looking for people that they can drain the energy from. And if you had responded, then they would have been able to siphon your energy. There again, we go back to
Yeah.
the Celestine prophecy. And
Yeah.
yes, so learning discernment and learning to not take things personally and not making assumptions. These are some of the simplest but the greatest gifts that we give ourselves on our road to self-mastery.
Exactly. So, you can say no now if you want to. I'm just kidding. We have some
Okay,
questions. Are you ready?
I have thought about this. I have said stop to myself. I have thought about it and I'm going, you know, I really would love to have the experience of answering these questions.
Okay, good. Great. So, first question. How do we manage someone who does not listen when we claim our right to say no?
Every situation is different. When you say no and you state that that is not what you on a soul level want to do and then they keep pursuing you, that is when you go into this ability to analyze whether this person is pushing you and trying to convince you to do that, or whether this person is someone that you are not going to have this conversation with. And that is when you make the decision to say, I have said no, that is my final answer, and if it's not agreeable with you, that's fine, but now I'm leaving, and walk away. If you're there again, knowing that you have that right to move yourself out of harm's way, I think
Yeah.
is a powerful thing to have.
Yeah, it is. And it's easier, obviously, when it's outside, when we in daily life, right?
Yes,
And
yes,
may not be as easy when it comes to workplace if you have a colleague that you don't go along with, or but I think in relationships that is a very difficult thing but you have to see. But usually people like this don't show you this from the beginning, and not no
never.
matter how sensitive or psychic you are, there are no human being picking up everything um, immediately, because people tend to show their best side, the good version, right?
Yes, till they
And
get you
if
hooked.
there are yes, and if there are signals, but as you stated before also, when you find yourself in a situation where you have tried to talk about things that you may experience as challenges or problems or whatever it is, right? And there's no response, and walk away, like you said, right? Because it's not
Yes,
going to change.
and
If someone doesn't, yeah, if someone doesn't show you that no, I rephrase that. If two people are disagreeing and one says we don't have any disagreement and the other one person says we have, then there is a disagreement. It
yes,
needs to be resolved, right?
and as you said, in the workplace, it is a lot more difficult. I mean, in a relationship, it's very difficult, but in a workplace where your livelihood depends on whether you agree with this person or not, it's a whole different scenario, and you're going to have to maybe there again look at the pros and the cons, and you may have to do something temporarily to get yourself out of that situation until you can find a way to resolve it. And
Yeah.
it's this it's not easy. I'm not saying that you go out there and there's just automatically everything falls right into place. We've told you scenarios where over time they have worked themselves out. But in each situation, you have to evaluate where is your safety, and
Yeah.
what how you can present this not wanting to conform. And we did a whole show on conforming, and when do you have to give in, and when do you go? And this is where finding your authentic self and finding how to discern things and how to see beyond the situation are going to help you. But I
Yeah.
encourage everybody to keep moving forward and not be discouraged. But it's
Exactly.
tricky question.
It is. And when you find yourself in a situation that feels extremely uncomfortable, inaction is not going to help. But it's not going to help either to run and scream, right?
No.
Sometimes it's also okay to find professional help for someone who can, help you find you in all that's
Yes.
going on, right? Because
Yes.
in inaction, on the other hand, because eventually you are probably going to have to make a change. And when we, hi Nidia, I saw Nidia, she just came on
Yes.
here. Yes. And when we don't act, generally each and every time something comes up, it feels more and more challenging. And at the end, you feel like you're pushed into the corner, you have no way to go. That's how
Yes.
it feels like when
Yes.
you are kind of not making any choice or
Anyway,
decision or anything. Yeah.
right.
So that's not a good thing either. Sometimes we do actually need to take action, but we don't need to run and scream to take it. We need to consider carefully, what are my options? We always, always, always have options, because when you reach the corner, when you are pushed to make that change, that can feel like you are jumping from everything. That's when you realize, yeah, well, I could have done this all along. If I can now, I could have done it then,
And
right?
when you have to make those kinds of decisions, like uh, I can no longer be in this job situation because I really am dying in this situation, or this relationship is toxic. The courage to actually move into the unknown, that's where, if you are living in your authentic self, you're saying, okay, I really need to do this no matter what the consequences. And it's not easy. I am honestly telling everyone, uh, when we came here, we chose to have this adventure, and we gave ourselves all kinds of wonderful scenarios to be drawn out. But that doesn't mean that you can't create new scenarios. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. We have the power, and don't give that power away, because everyone has it. We have it all. It's within here. And that is also connected to your relationship with yourself. Hmm,
Exactly. Woo.
how about that?
It seems
Next
like an easy
question.
one, but that was tough.
That was tough. What does saying no feel like in your body?
Well, I know what saying yes all the time feels like. Saying no it's almost like a breath of fresh air. It's like the pressure leaves your chest. You I have said no to situations, and I did not realize how much tension I was under until I said no, and saying, no way, I am not putting up with this behavior. Now go away.
Yeah.
And I thought that I would be crushed and crumbled because I had tried it once before. And I did. I wasn't really ready to admit that I needed to say no. This time I knew that that was the right thing to do. And immediately there was like, oh, I could breathe. And I'm going, I don't even feel any sadness or any loss. I feel reprieved. It was like I can now write my own story. A new day, a new dawn. It was wonderful.
Yeah, it is freeing, and I have been. I have a very recent strong no in August this year to someone, and I know that that person were over the top disappointed in that, and they
Yes.
went angry, and they said to me, "Okay, I forbid you to ever call me again."
Oh, well, thank
And
you.
yeah, yeah, exactly what I said to myself. I didn't say it out loud because it it turned out, in my perspective, for me, because they were kind of a little bit of a drama-driven person, and I don't do very well with those. But it's someone I've known for many, many years. But I still said no. And after they said that, which they said to me, I said, well, thank you, because you actually did help me. I don't have to feel any kind of feeling that I'm not going to have a connection with you. So thank you. Bye bye.
I know you just really made it very clear. Yes, and sometimes in the absurdity of relationships, when a person is thinking that they're going to really hurt you, and you're just sitting there going, "Oh, great! Now I don't even have to think about that anymore."
Exactly.
Oh,
Um, it is what it is, right? So, next question.
okay.
Have you ever said yes when you truly went no?
I am sure I have, in many, many, many times. And as I said when we began the show, um, if I were to be a person that lived with regrets, I would regret the times that I said yes when I really wanted to say no. Um, I've been very blessed that my no's have not led me to physical danger, but they have led me to making poor decisions which have hurt me and others. And if, like I said, if I were to live in the past, I'm sure that I could latch on to one of those and really feel as bad as I did when I was having to recover from having said yes. So does that make any sense?
Yes, it does.
Uh,
I understand. And
yes,
I've done that multiple times too. Many, 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 many times, more than multiple, multiple, many.
yes,
And but not usually now. No, I'm much better. I learned that art because there is a blessing with becoming mature, both in age and experience, and also walking this path and going through things. Because I've been walking through interesting things in my life, many interesting things,
yep,
a rich history, and you learn along the way, and you understand that saying no, it's when I feel insecure, because sometimes I don't want to feel like I'm rushed. If I'm rushed to say yes or no, that's going to be a no from the very beginning,
yep,
because you can't rush me. So that's a no-no. But if you leave me time, I can feel into it. but I still determine myself to have the right to say yes or no. It's my decision. It's not the person asking. But I'm a very helpful person. It doesn't mean that I put myself down as a doormat, right? That there's a difference. So I
Yep.
think that's the difference. When you say yes when you don't really want to, you don't feel good.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel good.
Then you get resentment, you get anger, you get frustration, and then you start laying on the guilt. Well, I shouldn't feel like that because I should be able to help people. I know we can do a number on ourselves.
Exactly. So, next question.
Yes.
What beliefs or fears make it hard for you to say no, or made it hard for you to say no in the
Okay,
past?
I can answer that one right off the bat. Um, my fear of not being good enough for my husband that led me to constantly say yes when I really wanted to say no to things. Um, it I didn't realize that it was hovering over me. I didn't realize that it was a part of my DNA. And my parents never divorced, so I didn't live with that kind of a scenario. But I didn't feel worthy, and I figured if I didn't be the good wife and do the good this and everything else, he would leave me. Well, 23 years later, he did leave me. And it was then that I realized that what I was fearing was not as horrible and bad as I had built it up in my mind. So I had created this scenario of how terrible it would be and lived under this fear and lived in a situation where I wasn't really being myself. And it was like, wow, now that it's happened, okay. I mean, it was the fear was so strong that when it really did happen, it was just like poof. And yet,
Yeah.
after years of being separated, he actually came to me and he apologized for having done it the way he did it. And he said how much he regretted the situation. And by then, I had started becoming my authentic self. And with love and compassion, I said to him, if you had not made that decision, I would have never been able to become myself. So that fear that kept me in that situation, and then I realized that it was all my imagination of how terrible it was going to be. It wasn't easy. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it didn't devastate me as what I had put into my scenario. So the fears that we have of loss, of condemnation, of not being accepted, of looking different, standing out, being successful, these are things that keep us in that loop, so to speak.
Yeah. I think it's basically the same for me. I never could take control, and I never liked the drama and conflict. Now I was younger, I avoided it like
Oh,
you
yes.
avoid a sickness, right?
Yep.
So not standing up for myself many times because that I thought then that was a way to kind of slide through, right? Having peace.
Yep.
Um, but there also I've encountered people in my life where kind of a lot of them, and I think that was a lesson for me, and I'm happy for that lesson because it taught me There's no idea to try to talk and have conversations and state what you feel when people are not listening, because they're not going to hear you. So that means you yourself needs to make a choice,
Yep.
and we can make that choice. So fearful of, if I make that choice, where am I going to end up? How is things going to be? But I've also experienced the blessing of feeling like, oh, I'm guided all the way. Incredible things happening during the journey. But it's still, I don't recommend people to just jump from things, because we are living in a world where it's nice to think before you act. But if you also wait too long, years usually, um, maybe things are going to come to that place where you actually need to make a fast decision
Yep.
if you are refusing to make it, think it through before. So seek help if you don't manage it yourself.
Yeah.
Everybody can be free. Everybody.
And that's the beauty of the insights that we're talking about. That's the beauty of many other things that we've talked about. And what I love so much is that when we get together and we're talking about what's real, what's really happening with us right now, it's not ethereal. It's not what if. It's we've been there. We've gone through it. We've experienced this. We've had some understanding with it. And if these little bits of understanding can help you, then we're willing to share.
Yeah.
Because if we share, like in the ninth
Yeah.
insight, if we start sharing, then people are going, I'm not alone. Wow. And others have had very similar situations. And I can find myself and I can start listening to my intuition. And this is the beauty. This is the beauty.
Yeah, it is a beauty. It's wonderful. It's perfect. It's beautiful. So last question. What does a healthy pushback look like in your life right now?
Ah, now that's very interesting. Uh, I think I'm going to put that one in your lap.
Okay, a healthy pushback in my life right now. Um, yeah, well, life is throwing some stuff to us. I don't really know that it feels hard for me anymore. I just
Yep.
manage and I'm following the flow. So it's you know, um, of course I'm not cold when it comes to feeling for others, but I can also sense and see and determine. And in my perspective, this world we're living in, this is only temporary for me. It's like we take a trip, we go somewhere for a couple of weeks.
Yep.
That's it, and then we go back home. And that also helps me to understand that if it's not really, it is real. So get me right. It is real while we're living here, but it's not our true reality, if
Yeah.
I can express it in that way.
Yep.
Because I know that there's another home for the soul, right? That's different. So everything here, it's like, it's like not playing a game, but it's like a theater or something. We play roles,
Yeah.
actors. So I don't take things seriously, um, in that sense. I don't take it personally. So if I have to say no to someone and I know they're going to be disappointed, yeah, but I can't take the whole world on my shoulders, and I can feel confident with that. I used to think years back that because I can, I have to. No,
Yeah.
no.
I think what you said was so true that these questions, are very valid questions, but I know that both you and I have spent many, 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 many years confronting these different situations and learning how to handle them. So when we have a pushback, it's not generally a life altering, earth shaking situation because we haven't allowed it to get to that. We've already set a lot of boundaries and a lot of not at this times and everything else. So we're fortunate that we're not being faced with a huge um, divorce, job change, or any of these types of things that can happen. And even when we when we uh, find ourselves in situations where we are having health challenges, we still don't take those as a big thing because we've learned to go with the flow and to be in synchronicity with what's around us. And
Yeah.
I'm hoping that each and every person that's listening to this understands that you can find a time where these things just become like, oh, there's that little mosquito, and you just
Yeah.
kind of flick them away.
Yeah.
So
Because it's not the end of the world. And, we have a lot of control over our feelings and power and how we
right,
manage, how we respond to things. But everything is not in our hands all the time, right? So
not at
I'm going
all.
to just have a reminder from last year, the broken leg. Someone saying, I don't have time for this. And that's kind of a reaction, right?
Yep.
And then I gathered myself and I said, okay, I am here. This happened. So what am I going to do with it? So I'm going to do whatever I can with what I currently have. And then I look forward. That's it.
Yes. It's uh I'm facing, having getting a new knee. Okay.
Yeah.
Another adventure. Well, in the meantime, I have to get my hands prepared. And thank goodness I'm ambidextrous, but um, in 2 weeks, I'm going to have my dominant hand uh, operated on. So I've been practicing putting my makeup on with my non-dominant hand. And I thought, well, I got to get good at this because, I'm going to have to use it for about 4 weeks. And to me, yes, it's a challenge, but it has nothing to do with what we're talking about today. But I think what we're learning in our journey that you and I have deliberately stepped on and into is that we can resolve whatever comes at us and we can find a way to be able to handle it. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Oh,
Oh,
that just slipped right out. And but that's the beauty of the journey of finding your authentic self because what you can do is amazing.
yes, it is. And you don't take that as challenges and because I'm going to come through it
Yep.
each
You
and
just
every time, um, my entire life. Every time I've been through something, I've always been thinking like, okay, I don't want to be here. I don't like this situation, but I know that this is going eventually to become a memory. And I'm going to be on the other side of it.
exactly.
And I'm going to continue with other things. So it's not the end of the world, right?
Yep. There again, not take it personally. It's not meant to be a bad thing. It's just something you got to go through.
Yes. So, wow, that was a great show today, right?
Well, I enjoyed every moment of it.
And me too. And I hope everybody else out there who listened enjoyed it too. And are we wrapping it up? Yes?
I'm thinking I am out of words, And if that one sneeze is going to lead to other sneezes, I think we should wrap it up.
Okay. So you can find all past episodes at youtube.com/@angelplaceonearth/streams. And you can find them at angelplaceonearth.com/upcoming-past. You can find me and Corrine at angelplaceonearth.com/cosmic guardians. And also our series, because now we are streaming every 2 weeks. We stream the Celestial Prophecy. We have streamed in the beginning of this year, we streamed the Four Agreements, and you find all our series at angelplaceonearth.com/series-cosmic-guardians. Our next show next Wednesday, October 8th. By the way, happy month, everybody. It's 1st of October.
Yes.
It's autumn. It's officially autumn.
Yes.
So next week, we talk about the Celestial Prophecy by James Redfield, Insight 11, the importance of synchronicity. Meaningful coincidences guide us. Love that. And you can... yeah, I think that's about it. Sorry. And as we close today's Cosmic Sis-Stars Live, let this be your reminder that saying no is not a rejection, it's a reclamation. It is the soul's way of choosing alignment over obligation, clarity over confusion, and truth over performance. You are allowed to protect your peace. You are allowed to honor your boundaries. You are allowed to say go away when something no longer serves your light. Thank you for showing up for yourself and for this sacred conversation. May your voice grow stronger, your energy clearer, and your choices more rooted in love. Until next time, keep listening to your inner knowing and keep walking in your truth.
Yes.
Infinite love, peace, joy, and laughter. We see you, we hear you, we love you, we appreciate you. So what do you say?
You have said it so eloquently, but as always, with all of those, I do see you. I understand you. I know that you have the power within you to do what you need to do for you. And when we do it with joy and laughter, it makes it a whole lot more fun.
It does.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.